Namaste, my name is Holly Semanoff, and today we'll be channeling straight from Source. So today's channeling is going to be all about the year 2025. So I'll just go ahead and open up the channel. We are here, and as we speak as one. And when we speak of one, we are speaking of allowing yourself to not only hear our words, but feel into them. Feel into not only the information, but the energy, and connecting with what resonates to you and what feels in alignment. For again, as we speak as one, for we speak from a place that is truly connected to everything, as everything is connected to you. An example of this, looking in your world, can be water. For water takes on many forms, but water is in fact water. It can be frozen. It can be liquid, it can be gas, it can move through many transitions. Water can also come from a spring, and that spring moves into a river, and that river moves into the ocean. But is there anywhere where you can truly say, here is the line where the ocean becomes the river, and the river becomes the ocean? And vice versa, for the river moving into the spring and the spring moving into the river. It is a slow connection that is melded together, but there is not in fact a place exactly where you can say, this is the line where one is and the other is not. It is a melding, and this in fact is your universe. All of you are connected, though you perceive your reality in the time and the space that you are sitting in. We are here to tell you, especially in 2025, you will be looking at time and space and rewiring your consciousness and your perception and expanding yourself to truly recognize what is time and space. For as you perceive yourself in this space, in the room or the car or wherever you are at, you feel yourself in that space. If there is another person with you there, you connect and feel them. But any walls or any barriers that are in fact there, you may see as separating yourself from others all around you. And yet, we are here to tell you that time and space is shifting. You are all, in fact, connected. You are opening up your perspective even wider to see that you are still connected to others, even outside of your present space, outside of your present walls or barriers. And we ask you to begin to look at your experience of time. The best example of this is when you are doing something that you love. You may experience time moving very, very fast. When you are doing something that you do not love and that you find distasteful or unacceptable for whatever your experience is, then you might feel yourself experiencing time as very, very slow. This is an obvious example for you to begin to open up your mind and your experience to recognize time is in fact experiential. Though you can listen to our words, you can look at your life and say, yes, you can philosophize about this. You can say this and I can have this experience, but no matter what, I get to be at work at 9 a.m. Yes, you do live in a reality that does have time, though we are telling you that as you begin to open yourself up to truly allowing yourself to be open to the possibility that time is in fact experiential, you will begin to recognize that time does move faster or slower depending on what you are doing. And when you begin to recognize this, you begin to pull the experience of time more consciously because you are noticing it. And when you begin to notice it, you begin to become in partnership with it. And as you move into partnership with time and begin to notice it, then you can begin to master it. What is time? And why would one want to master time? What is a master first? A master is simply one who has experience, and that is connected with knowledge as well. A master isn't necessarily one who only has the knowledge, but they also have the experience. So we are asking you, begin to open yourself up to allowing yourself to be aware of time in your life and in your space. Be aware that what it is you are doing can allow you to feel time moving faster or moving slower or fully present. For you can even have that experience of time, the present moment, that is neither super fast nor super slow. But in this, you all, as in the human race, and you listening as you are part of the human race, are having a paradigm shift to time. And when you shift your experience of time, then you will shift space as well. Moving back to our example of when you are in a room with another being, you are in the same space. Though you might have a barrier or a wall, people do not always perceive themselves as being connected to anyone outside of their current space. And yet again, we are telling you, you are connected beyond the walls and beyond the barriers of what space you are present to in a room. When you begin to expand your awareness around what is time, again, you will expand your awareness also around what is space. And when you do that, you begin to expand your experience of your environment, not only in time, but also in space, which allows you to begin to experience a part of you, a piece of you that is in fact not bound by time and space. Some people call this the essence, the soul, the spirit, and whatever it is that you call it, it is a piece of you that is ever living or that maintains the light of consciousness that is you, but is having an experience of being in time and space as being human. You can still be connected to an infinite aspect of you and be in time and space. But the only difference when these two are connected, your human experience in time and space through birth, life, and death, being connected to this aspect of you that is ever living, then you allow the two to merge. And in that, you also allow the abilities, the capabilities, and the senses of not only your human experience in time and space with your 5 sense organs to work in this world, but you begin to open yourself up to also having the experience of your infinite self, your spiritual self, or your intuition to also bleed, into this world and support you in this world. We'll move back to our example of the spring moving into the river moving into the ocean. You see, it is all water, but in a certain time and space, it is the river. In a certain time and space, it is the spring. In a certain time and space, it is the ocean. But when we go back far enough, it is all water. Now, why do you get to know all of this for 2025? Because as you shift your relationship with time, recognizing that it is experiential, then you get to tap into information, knowledge, and experience that is even beyond just what you have experienced in this human life. For example, you, as an infinite being, may have many more experiences outside of just this timeline, this personality, and the space in which you live right now. But how do you tap into that? This can often be a question for people who are doing self-awareness work. Many people simply work on their life that they have lived from the moment of birth of this life up until this moment right now, to look back, to become conscious, to heal, to neutralize, and to empower yourself in this moment of time. Though you have much more available to you if you can open up your perspective to recognize that you are connected actually to so much more than just this life in this moment of time. Now we'll give you an exercise to practice with, to begin to allow yourself to connect more deeply with what we are speaking about. When you light a candle, you notice the candle. You notice the wax, the wick, and the flame. And you may notice that there is light all around you, but usually in the human experience, people will be focusing on the object itself, on the candle itself that is shining light, or on the wall that it is shining the light upon. But they do not recognize necessarily that where truly do you say from the light of the candle does the light begin and end? Again, it is that slow bleed or that melding that the light is connected everywhere. It is connected to the space in between just as much as it is connected to the object of itself. So you can even look at the body as being the wax and the wick, and there is a light within you that is lit. That is life. That is what keeps your heart beating, your lungs breathing. That is the intelligence that aligns all the cells in your body to work as one. And it is not only trapped within you. There is no trapped here. There are no walls here. It is infinitely expanded, even beyond you. If you allow yourself to begin to focus, even on the space in between things, you allow yourself to focus on the energy of being connected to time and space, because it serves you in manifesting in this world, yet also being connected to what is infinite and is not bound by time and space. This is the world of superposition. This is the world of recognizing that you can be expanded everywhere and also connected to this moment right now. It is a practice of opening up your awareness so that these new discoveries that are in your world can seep more deeply into the consciousness of every being here. Now, if we're looking at a timeline, you can look at the last 100 years of your human experience on planet Earth. If we're looking at the last 100 years, it often takes a lot of time for a new discovery, a new aha for humanity to trickle its way out into becoming common knowledge. Now that trickle of information has been very, very slow, though it has been able to awaken people to recognize that Newtonian physics has been a thing, though there is something else that is even underneath that aspect of reality that is quantum. And in this, you can then change the way that you interact with your environment through your awareness of not only knowledge, but experience. So, let us ask you a question. What is the sound of one hand clapping? Notice how you allow yourself to sit with that. And all of a sudden, things seem bigger, wider, more expansive. Though this Zen proverb has been used for eons to teach how you can connect to infinite space, and it is not to disconnect from this finite space, from this present moment, and from yourself as being a human, of having birth, life, and death. It is to introduce an and. Welcome to 2025, which is also the year of the and. Perspective is everything. If we hold up a coin to you now, we may see a heads, you may see a tails. Though they are part of the same coin, our perception of the coin is different because I am locally in this space looking in on the coin. You are locally in your space looking in on the coin. Though the coin has both. It has a heads and a tail. Though if I do not allow myself to move into the experience of moving into non-locality or of the space in between, I will not have the experience of seeing the entire picture or of connecting to the and. The and is, could you both possibly be right? Can it be a heads and a tail? Yes, and it is. This concept of moving into an and will also open your perspective. Now, when you move into an and, you will still have your own preferences, as it is your gift in being human and being an individual to tap into what you would like to do with your life, what you like, but also recognizing that there can be an and many of those concepts of introducing an and will allow this idea of almost Newtonian separation. One must be right or one must be wrong. Either I am right or you are right makes one of us wrong is a concept that is dissolving. And we introduce you again to a concept of what if they both hold some aspect and perception of truth because of where you stand locally in your experience of life and on your timeline. Now, we have talked a few times introducing this word timeline. If you think of a line, it is a straight line, and you can place that straight line on a horizon and put point A to be, to see on it. And you can place yourself on that line. Though we can twist that line up and move it vertically, and then the A, B, and C happens now in this moment. All of them fall together, and they are in the present moment. The present moment is the only place that is connected to everything. And in that, you can allow yourself as well to connect to this infinite part of you. You often hear the power of presence, and we are here to accept that also. You, being fully present in a moment, is in fact connecting not only to this moment right now, but to all moments or the infinite space. Infinite time, 0 point energy, is found in this moment right now. And as you are experiencing it for yourself, it will move you beyond working in a Newtonian way or quite mechanically or even electrically from point A, B, and C to working more magnetically or infinitely to what is truly there. All possibilities, for the sea of quantum only says yes. And a beautiful practice for this is to allow yourself to breathe into the moment. As you inhale, you will feel an expansion. And as you exhale, you will feel a contraction. Yet, what is between the inhale and the exhale? A space between that is neither expanding nor contracting. When you inhale, think of yourself as inhaling, calling all of your energy from the past, from the future, inhaling it into this moment of time. Take a moment, be here, and then exhale. Feel yourself landing truly in this moment. And then feel the bottom of the exhale. Feel your presence, feel your grounding in this moment. And then once again, inhaling, you can call your energy from the past, from the future. As you call it in, feel that moment. And then exhale, relax into this moment, into this space. This is an infinity breath, but this is also a breath that it's allowing you to connect the finite with the infinite that is within you, that again will open yourself to an and. Can you be quite literally on a horizontal timeline and a vertical timeline? Yes. The horizontal timeline is birth, life, and death. And you have that experience as being human. You also, though, have a vertical timeline that is point A, B, and C. It is birth, life, and death. And even bigger, it is even outside of time and space. So in 2025, to summarize, allow yourself to begin to tap into recognizing for yourself what is time. Time is shifting. It has always been here, but your experience of it on a humanity level, as far as you as a human race going together on this planet, are shifting the concept and the perception that you have all had about what is time. And that will automatically shift your experience and your perception of what is space, which will shift you into recognizing that you are all connected. And then in that, recognizing that time and space are in fact not what you have always thought, for it is quite non-local, and it is in a superposition that you will even shift yourself to begin to recognize that you as well have many gifts, talents, and abilities that are yours, even beyond just this life of what you have accumulated. For you have accumulated much. And then in that, you will open up your senses to not only the 5 senses that you use as a human being, but to the senses that you use as an infinite spirit that works outside of your local experience. When we speak of that, is you have non-local capabilities. You have deep insight and intuition that can again come from the inside to affect your outer world. Our example of that is the phone call. You feel you get to call someone, you call them, they say, I was just thinking about you. Again, that did not come from the outer means of point A to B to C. It came from an inner means that then you took action on. You are then recognizing you have senses and abilities that are even beyond the 5 sense organs. And there are actually much more than that in the human senses. You will discover them this year, and you've already discovered them, but they are starting to come more into your consciousness and more into the human experience. Now, in this also, we wish to also summarize that not only are you shifting your experience with time and space, you are shifting your experience to recognize that there can be an and. Everything is not an or. It is not either I am right or you are right. It can be you both are right. And what is going to shift you into an and is changing your experience with time, which then changes your experience with space, which then changes your perspective to be able to see both sides of the coin as they both exist in the same moment of time. Your experience of it will shift, and you'll recognize that there are many ands, in fact, in the human experience. You are on your own timeline, though while others are on theirs, they can be walking their perfect path as you are walking yours. Though they do not look the same, it does not mean that one is right and one is wrong. It is an and this perspective will completely change the way that you interact with one another, and recognize that there are no hard-cut lines, again, where the spring begins and the river ends, and where the river ends and the ocean begins. It is all water. That is what we are getting to. So in this, allow yourself to move through 2025, having the experience of your time and your space. And you can utilize a few of the exercises that we have told you about recognizing and tapping into as you light a candle. Where truly does the light begin and it ends? You can't necessarily say, but then allow yourself to even tune in to the space in between things while still being connected also to the things. And then you allow yourself to connect with an infinite part of you that is also connected to the finite part of you. And that finite part of you that is also connected to the infinite part of you. And that practice is beautiful to allow you to truly seep into what is possible for 2025. And also that infinity breath of allowing yourself to every inhale pull your energy from the past, even from the future, inhaling it into this moment of time, allowing yourself that moment to just feel into the stillness between the inhale and the exhale. And then as you exhale, allowing yourself to fully land in this moment of time. Feel that stillness, feel that space. And then once again, inhaling, bringing it back in until you feel the finite and the infinite fully connected. So for all of this, we are coming to completion, and we thank you for filling up this time in this space with us. May you allow yourself to receive everything and all that is not only experienced through this life, but through that infinite part of you that is ever present. For now, we bid you farewell. So for those who don't know, usually I'll actually get a lot of visuals when I am in there channeling. And one big visual that I was seeing as the channel was speaking is that horizontal. And that horizontal aspect of time is point A to B to C. And it's like birth, life, and death. And then there's this aspect of A, B, and C that is on this timeline that is obviously point to point to point, but then it just flipped up. And then you have A, B, and C just go whoop and then come together on each other. And so it creates this plus, and it's like this infinite aspect or this finite aspect of who we are and this infinite aspect of who we are who are just connecting here. And then that turns into a plus. And that plus sign is the and. So that's the and too that is created from, that aspect of the coin that was spoken about on either side. And then as we are connecting that plus sign and that and, then we get the full perspective. And I was able to see the entire coin. And it wasn't just using like my human senses of looking at it this way. It's like I could see all of it. And that was because of the relationship between time and space shifted. So it changed my relationship with perspective to be able to move into the and. And that was a huge thing, was I was just seeing that ABC and then flipping and then connecting. So that was really cool. But thank you all so much for coming on here and for supporting us and for receiving whatever it is that might serve your highest good. That is always our intention here, that it can support you on your journey of life. So thank you for being here. And until we meet again, namaste.